hopefully I'm a role model to some of the young females who are on the department and outside of the department to look and to achieve different things and to know that the sky is truly the limit.
Hey everybody, it's Michael Laitler, your host of the LEO First podcast. Today, I'm in Los Angeles with Undersheriff April Tardy. Now, if you got a chance to read my book or you ever heard me talk, I've always wanted to come to LA, especially early on in my life. When I watched the O.J. Simpson trial, I always told people I wanted to be a homicide detective in LA. So while that's not gonna happen, I still have the opportunity to at least be here with someone that works in LA, specifically the Los Angeles County Sheriff Department. So I love to ramble early on, but I'm not going to for the sake of time.
Okay.
So April, tell us about you.
Hi, hello everyone. I'm April Tardy. I am the Undersheriff for the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department. I've been with the department for 30 years. And for those people who don't know what an Undersheriff is, I'm actually the second in command of the largest sheriff's department in the United States. We have about 18,000 employees, a budget of $3.9 billion.
Something small.
Yeah,
It's good. It's a good starting budget, but yeah.
Yeah, we service about 10 million residents in a 4,000 square mile radius.
And it's crazy when you say that because in 30 years of law enforcement, because she started in 1994, you've done some amazing things and you've seen a lot of changes in law enforcement. And sometimes it's hard for people to realize what's going on if they're in it or they're just starting in it. And one thing I know we wanted to highlight was that you're a woman at one of the highest levels that you, like you said, and trust me guys, it's true. The LA County Sheriff's Department is the largest sheriff's department, and then it's number third overall because it's only behind New York and Chicago.
Correct.
In size. And I looked it up. That's how I knew. And she was like, "How is he?" No, I'm not that good. I looked it up all ahead of time. But as you rose through these ranks, how was it like? Because obviously you're a first timer for a lot of things.
Yes.
So how did that experience go? So if anybody's watching, they're probably like, "Oh, how did she get there?" Like it couldn't have been easy because we know it wasn't.
Yes.
So how was it actually experiencing it from your end?
Yes. So it was, I've had my challenges, but for the 30 years that I've been on the department, it's been an amazing road. And I can tell you, I came to the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department because I thought the opportunities for female was a lot greater. I live about 65 miles east of here, so I commute about 4 hours round trip every day to be here.
Yes, you do.
But because it matters, and I knew that because of the size of the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department, I thought I would have a lot more advantages. And to do the things that I've seen on TV, to experience the patrol end. I was a detective. I worked the gang unit in Compton. I was a sergeant there. So I had a lot of great assignments. And I think one of the great things that I can say I was proud of, I was one of the first females who worked Compton Station as a gang detective. So I was one of 8 or 9 investigators, the only female. So I kind of had to prove myself. I had to work hard, work long hours, but that was nothing that I was afraid of. I was used to working hard and not being afraid to challenge myself and have other people challenge me and some of the things that I do. And one of my great accomplishments is being the first female captain of South Los Angeles Station, which was formerly Lennox. South Los Angeles Station was established, or Lennox, in 1948. And so to be the first female captain there, it was huge. It meant a lot to me, and just commanding all of those men and women who, quite frankly, just love doing what they do, and just involving the community and having conversations with the community. Trust me, I was beat up a couple times,
Of course.
as we all are, but it's growing, and I think that's how we as law enforcement grow. We have to recognize the people that we work with, and that's the community. We're working with the community. So I've had some challenges in that, but just along the road, it's just been hopefully I'm a role model to some of the young females who are on the
Yep.
department and outside of the department to look and to achieve different things and to know that the sky is truly the limit.
And it's crazy because just think about how big this department is. I mean, 18,000 employees, at least 9,000 of them are sworn.
Yes.
And it wasn't like you took one promotion and now you got to the top. It's been multiple moves throughout your career.
Correct.
Like from 1994 to 2024, where we're at today. It wasn't like you lacked like opportunities or challenges. But you, like you said, I think one of the best parts of where you pictured your career early is you looked at opportunity.
Yes.
And sometimes I think anybody, when they look at opportunity, they'll go somewhere small and then they're like, why didn't I get promoted to at least a sergeant?
Exactly.
Well, there's 6 people and one sergeant, and that sergeant's probably going to be there for 30 years.
Yeah, you have to wait for someone to retire in order to have that opportunity.
Correct.
You know?
But here, you're going to have several opportunities. I mean, obviously, there's still competition out there,
Yes,
but
there
you
is.
put yourself in a pool
Yes.
that allows you to win by performance and merit
Yeah.
versus just seniority. And I think that's the important side of when we look at law enforcement. Like, for anybody that's think maybe they're not the most prototypical or common
Yeah.
candidate,
Yes.
you got to give yourself chances
Yeah.
to do it, because I'm sure when you apply for some of these positions, I'm sure you got turned down.
Yes.
I'm sure some people think like, oh, I know promotions I've had. They're like, oh, you just got that job. I said, you know how many jobs I put in for before I got this? I got turned down 10 to 15 times,
Yeah.
sometimes 20.
Yes.
And I was like, it's not like it just came.
Yes. And people don't realize that there's a lot building up to any position. And I've always told people that I mentor, you have to put in the work, and you're going to hear no sometimes, and that's okay. But don't let it keep you down. Make yourself the best candidate possible just by doing the work. You get knocked down, you find out where you made your mistakes and what you could improve on, and improve upon those things, and then go back and try it again. You know, it's just law enforcement in general. There are a lot of people vying for a lot of different positions. Don't be afraid of hard work. Don't be afraid. I mean, still, it's 30 years for me, and I've loved every single assignment, and I've never shortcutted anything. And I think that's where people feel that, you know, if you're in the right circle and you socialize, and then you get this position. But you're not the best suited person for that. You just have connections.
Correct.
You have to work. You have to work and not be afraid of the hard work. You know, even today, people laugh at me because I'm probably the last car in the parking structure at night. So, you know, I sit here, I leave 7, 8, 9 o'clock at night.
And then drive your 2 hours.
Yes, and then drive my 2 hours home. But I know that I have this calling, and it's funny too, Michael, is that I didn't think that I was going to be in law enforcement when I went to college. My goal was I was a biology major at UCLA for about a year.
Well, that's much different than
Yeah.
law enforcement.
Yeah, and then, you know, I knew, I mean, I was stressed out to the max, and I knew, hey, this isn't what I need to do. And I remember one of my goals was when I graduated from college, I wanted to leave there debt free. So I worked 2 jobs during the summer, and I paid for my tuition using, you know, the income from one job. And I remember one summer I took a class at a junior college because it was cheap. And I took a class.
You learn.
It was the Admin of Justice class, and it was taught by a lieutenant from Riverside County Sheriff's Department. And I just fell in love with it from the beginning, and sat at the front of the class, and I knew, you know, I'm no longer going to go into business and get into business law. I'm going into law enforcement. So sometimes our what we think we want in life is not really what we want. But I found this to be my niche, and no looking back, no turning back. It's the best decision that I ever made.
In 30 years, and I will tell you all that are watching, and I say you all, I'm from the South. I lived in
Yes.
Florida, Texas, Louisiana.
Okay.
Y'all, I'm trying to hold back where I can.
Lake Charles, Louisiana, I was born.
Oh, well, then I live in Beaumont,
Yes,
so
okay,
yeah, so you
yes,
know exactly
yes,
where that's at.
exactly.
And if you guys don't know, go look it up, Lake Charles, Louisiana. It's not big, neither is Beaumont, but
Yes.
you always drive through it, whether you're going to New Orleans or Houston.
Yes.
Those 2 cities you have to drive through.
Yes.
So one thing that I've noticed, even when I first walked in here, is your contagious smile. Like, you're always happy. So in 30 years, how do you maintain that happiness?
You know, I'm not happy all day, every day, But for the most part, I'm happy.
Hmm.
And I can say I have my moments where there's a little bit of negativity that may impact me, but I don't stay there. You know, you linger in that space too long and then you become negative. This is me every single day, no matter who I'm communicating with. And when I have my bad days, I may need to close my door for about 10 minutes. I tell
Fair
my
enough.
staff, give me 10 minutes because I don't want my negative
Hmm.
attitude to impact anybody else. And then we just move on. But it's good, you know, it's good. And like I said, I've had my challenges. I've been called, you know, horrible names, you know,
Of course.
in law enforcement. But I think that I'm doing a great part in being part of that change that we need in law enforcement.
And being happy is part of it
Yeah,
because as the second in charge
yeah,
of the largest sheriff's department, the third largest police agency in this country,
yeah,
people are always watching leaders.
yes.
And if you have a frown or you're
Hmm.
letting the things that happen, because a lot of things happen to you at your level, you see a lot,
Yes, I
and
do.
you may not experience everything firsthand, but you see
Yes,
everything. You read
yes.
about it. People
Hmm.
come in your office,
Hmm.
but maintain that happiness is
Yeah,
important. So it's nice to see at this level, like you're not forcing a smile on,
no,
like, and it's not, trust me, because I know I
yeah,
teased you a little bit early before we started, but
yeah,
really this is like a genuine thing, and
yeah.
it's important because I, for me, especially since I teach a lot about leadership, is it starts at the top.
Hmm.
So if you're happy, you're smiling, it is contagious. Like
Yeah,
everybody's looking up because they're like,
yeah,
what is April going to do?
yes,
How is she going to be?
yeah,
You know what? She just heard this really bad news, which in law enforcement it happens
yeah.
every day,
Hmm.
multiple times. How is she going to respond?
Yes,
Because that's going to dictate how I respond.
yeah,
So having that just that mindset and just that understanding of how important it is to just get through things is important because people are watching.
yeah,
So I love what we're talking about. I love what we're doing. But for the sake of time, I told you I wouldn't run you past a certain time,
yes.
and I'm going to keep to that. So if people are looking to reach out to you, they want to learn more about the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department, how would they find you?
Uh, LASD.org.
Hmm.
We have our Sheriff's Information Bureau. They can contact me, send me any type of message. And also, we are trying to hire. We're trying to hire
Absolutely.
a lot of people. And I can say that there is a push to hire more females.
Hmm.
We are part of the 30 by 30
Yes.
initiative.
Willie.
Yes,
Hmm.
where we're trying to hire, you know, 30% females in every agency by 2030.
Absolutely.
And I think we're on the right track, and I'm encouraging a lot of women to apply. So, so yeah, you can find me, you know, LASD.org. And some final words. I
Hmm.
want to let all of our women know that this used to be a male dominated position and profession, but right now I think that women are doing a lot of great things in it,
I agree.
and the sky is always the limit for us. So
No, and you're right. And I
yeah.
spoke at a Willie conference 2 years
Oh,
ago, and
okay.
I got a chance to experience
Mhm.
the the camaraderie, the energy,
Mhm.
and it was so uplifting
Yes.
because you've seen women from all over the countries. I
Yeah.
mean, predominantly in California
Yes.
because that's where the conference was held.
Yeah.
But you saw people coming from all over, and it was amazing for me to see,
Yeah.
especially as a male and being in the industry at that time for 17 years.
Mhm.
It was nice to see an organization promoting that.
Yes.
And that's when I heard about 30 by 30 the
Yes.
very first time. And I was
Yes.
like, that's a really good idea. And I think it'll shift
Yeah.
how we operate in law enforcement in general. And so many different facets we could talk about, but
Yeah.
I know increasing that side
Yeah.
would be very important.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because we see it all over.
Absolutely.
And we're like, man. So I mean, when I was on the street, I was like, man, I wish I had a women partner because sometimes guys we tend to think alike on a lot of things.
Absolutely.
And it's real.
Yes.
So we try not to,
Yes.
but we do, and it's like, man, maybe this wasn't the best idea. And then a
Yeah.
woman comes along, she's like, no, why'd you do that? We're like, I don't know.
Yeah, and no knock on men, but we are better communicators.
I don't disagree.
Okay.
I know. I agree with you completely. I was
Yeah.
raised by my mom, my grandmother, and my
Yes.
sister, and
Yeah.
and my mom watches all my podcasts. So if I said anything differently, yeah, you are the best communicator. All the women, trust me, because I know you will get on me. But honestly, I do agree.
Yeah.
And most people receive women's communication more effectively.
Yes.
I mean, I know there's studies that say that and stuff like that. It's just the tone, the inflection, the seeing them as a mother or a sister or a grandmother, like it's just, or a spouse. It's just that's how it's viewed. So you're right.
Yeah.
So thank you for all your time.
Yeah.
I'm sure all of you watching, you got a chance to listen to someone that's actually in the role And she is very communicative because that's how I met. I was surprised when she emailed. I thought it was like an AI that responded to me. But when I was like, she even told me, she was like, you look like you had a fake email. And I was like, I'm sorry. So she does respond. So I can tell you from at least my perspective, if you're looking for an agency to work for and a leader to be around, this would be a place to come, because this is what we all talk about. We want to be around strong leaders, good cultures. And my short experiences here, I could tell you, and I do believe you have that here, and you're one of the people that helped bring that up. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time. Appreciate everything you guys do. If you need anything from me or April, reach out. And maybe if you're thinking about getting in law enforcement or transferring, because I'm sure they like laterals.
Oh, yes, we do.
This would be the place to come. Trust me, I haven't looked at the salary before I came in. It's very competitive. So please follow up, check her out. If you have any questions, reach out to me. I can lead you in this direction. So you guys have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening to the LEO First podcast. We hope we have provided you with information that can change your life. I'm asking you one favor. Subscribe and leave a review on Apple Podcasts. I don't know how I can serve you better. If you know anyone who will benefit from it, please share. Remember, it is simple. Create your legacy.